we talked about it, that sometimes the long term might conflict with the short term. Sonny's a really talented pitcher. There's no doubt about that. But I said it then, I'm going to say it again. When those two things run in opposite directions, we're going to choose the long term, because that's where this organization needs to be. We're trying to get back to a certain place and stay there. And history has shown that the way the Cardinals always do that is with our young, talented core. So we're trying to build on that core, and excited about these two guys and what they're going to mean for us as part of that.
One more, if you could just address, there's no promises in rebuilding. It's often trying and tough on a fan base. Can you just talk about this process and the patience and stick-to-itiveness that it's going to take to get through this?
Yeah, look, nobody who gets in this game has any guarantees. I think the more fully we commit to what we need to do, the better it will go and the quicker we will get there. I don't view this as something that's about patience. I view it as something that we have to attack with purpose. We have to attack it with urgency, and we have to do that every day. There are elements of our strategy that just make sense for those to be long-term, but that doesn't mean we're going to be complacent, and that doesn't mean we're going to sit on our hands. We're going to do things every day, whether they're things behind the curtain that people can't see, to try to get us there. And sometimes, like today, we do something that is very visible, but we are doing it because we think it's going to get us where we need to go as quickly and as effectively as possible and put us in position to stay there.
Okay, Derek Gould, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Just had to unmute there. Hey, Chaim, I just wondered real quick, first a question just on the guys' health, on these two pitchers, where they are after missing some time last year. Fitz had the nerve injury or issue, I think, at the end of the year where he is, and then Clark kind of had that persisting blister issue where you feel he is. And then I have a follow-up question, if that's all right.
Yeah, everything that we had heard that was backed up by what we were able to see reviewing their medical information, and actually just spoke to Richard. He is back throwing. He was in Boston until last week and just went back home, and he's back throwing. And we would expect him to have a normal offseason and be ready to compete for a rotation spot in spring training. As for Brandon, obviously he's had some medical history, and most recently those blisters, which are something that some young pitchers, especially with the ability to create some of the shapes that he can create, might suffer from and have to learn to manage. Look, this is his first full pro season. That is something we're going to have to work with him to help manage as he goes forward. I think it's a byproduct of some of the very unique things he's able to do on the mound. So obviously when somebody's at this spot in their journey, there's a lot they have to learn about themselves, and a lot we have to learn about them too as we get to know him. But this is a guy that our pitching team did a lot of homework on as we were discussing this acquisition, and we're going to be there to support him in a lot of different ways, whether it's what he does between the lines, what he does off the field, to make sure he has every chance to reach his potential. But he should be ready to go when spring training comes.
And my quick follow-up, in a winter where this could be the first of several trades that you're dealing with, where a veteran goes elsewhere and youth comes in, I wondered if you could kind of give us a sense of what you prioritized in the return, and whether that was pitching, whether that was a blend in this case, like Fitz is going to contribute, Clark has high upside. Could you take us inside, like maybe what good returns on veterans look like for you this off season?
Yeah. Well, one thing I should say, and we've talked about it before, we do see value regardless of, whether we're building for the long haul. We still do see value in what veterans can contribute in the short term. And that's always something that you have to weigh. And sometimes those short-term effects, sometimes those short-term contributions have long-term effects.